AK Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Tonight is a wowzer of a show. We're going to be talking about a lot of things, including China, space, and of course, the new lasers up there. We'll be right back with more. Well, what is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Tonight we have a loaded show, but first, let me just tell you, we must go over these. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, I should also say, make sure to sign up for our alerts and our push notifications. If YouTube or the other platforms are not letting you know that we are live, of course, you can always go here and get push notifications directly from us. Tonight was a little bit, I'm sorry, we were about 10 minutes late. YouTube is forcing all creators to use the new system and to use YouTube events, which is great for you guys. It looks like we're going to have to schedule a show out. And what has always been hard about that is because one, I'm a regular person just like you guys. We don't have $1 million in a crazy studio with people watching my kids and doing my hair and everything else before we go live and making sure that, I can just do the show. I have a real life just like you guys. I have 3 kids. In fact, one on the way. So it's always been pretty crazy doing the show. On top of that, my co-host is across the country in a 3-hour time zone difference, so it makes it complicated. Without further ado, though, we're going to get into some crazy stuff here, so stick around. If you want to follow along, all of the articles are on our website. In fact, if you go there now, you'll see it's organized by thumbnail. You'll see that if you click on this thumbnail there, you will see we've added every single tweet, every single video, every single archive document, everything we're going to show you here, you can actually reach on a second device. Obviously, it would help if you were, not going here the whole show. But again, you can read these later. You can go back to this. You can go back to this a year from now and see if we predicted right. Again, you can also watch the videos that we cannot show here due to copyright reasons. On the bottom, there will be the caller info. You guys can call in. It is a live call-in show. That number is 224-400-MARF. That's scrolling right here on the black line. And again, this is the number if you do not have letters on your phone. Of course, not a lot of people do anymore. Okay, without further ado, let's introduce Dex. Dex is my co-host and our tech specialist, and he will also be screening the calls tonight. What is going on, Dex? Can we do a sound check?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam.
So, Dex, just to let you know, I don't know what it is. It sounds like you are in a Star Trek lab still, but it may be a computer fan or something. But either way, we'll check back on you in a little bit and see if...
Okay, is that any better?
Yes. I don't know what that was. Before the show, it was these like gurgles and beeps. It sounded like he was on the Enterprise. Anyways, we've got it all together now. Thank you, Foogle fam. I love you guys. Seriously, I hope we have a really positive night. I think we're moving forward with a lot of really great stuff. So without waiting any longer, let's get into the news because there's a lot of crazy stuff here. China threatens U.S. over Taiwan visit, and it says stones may become torpedoes. That is not a quote you want to hear from these guys. It says Undersecretary of State Keek Karak exits a plane upon arrival at the Air Force Base Airport on Thursday, September 17, 2020 in Taipei, Taiwan. It says that China on Thursday issued a thinly veiled threat against Taiwan and the U.S. ahead of what it considers a provocative visit to Taipei. And it says, once the People's Liberation Army dispatches troops to reunify the island of Taiwan, the military equipment from the U.S. will be nothing but decorations. That's a big quote right there. And it says China's Global Times wrote in a morning article. Now, this isn't just like the New York Times or something writing an article. The Global Times, the China's Global Times, is basically owned and operated by the Chinese government. So them saying that is their way of getting that out there as a veiled threat. That's why they say thinly veiled, because it's straight up the Chinese government saying it. It says it also made references to America's, quote, throwing stones into contentious Taiwan Strait. The site increased militarization in recent months there. It says once they go too far, those stones may become torpedoes, increasing the uncertainties of the entire region as well as the risks of drastic changes in the Taiwan Straits. Just a quick opinion on this, as far as if you watch this show, then you know there's a lot going on with China and Russia. Now, whether it is a huge distraction, whatever you may call it, I think it's a distraction that will actually take lives at some point. And I think that it will have people above prime ministers and presidents pulling the strings and paying for both sides. That's a thing. People say, well, why would they do that? Well, all of this stuff, all of these other things like the G network is going into play. Then they won't be able to mind control us with all their networks and things. And why would they put this up if it's all going to get torn down? I think it's because it's not all going to be torn down. A lot of it will be, and it will be quite an event. You see sites like Deagle predicting that we'll lose 2/3 of our population here in the U.S. and other countries, almost all of them allies, losing their population as well. What is there? Why are those stats all pointing in that direction? Now that, of course, anybody could just throw in and go, oh, well, that's just a prediction, right? Well, it's based on real stats from everything from the W, H to the O to C to the dog to the Charlie and others. And they all point to this, right? Then you have the recent announcement that they do have DEW weapons in space. That's straight up the Pentagon, DOD announcing that, I believe, yesterday or the day before. Crazy stuff. I mean, this is something that they said was theories and this and that. Now they're just straight up saying it. And we're talking about, before, when they talked about anything directed, as far as energy goes, it was, smaller kind of drone things, stuff that they would put on a Navy ship, nothing like a satellite that could wipe out entire cities or something like that. That is now being announced, and that is explaining why T-Man started Space Force. He didn't just go, I want to have a military branch, I want to create my own military branch. That was due to advisors saying, hey, this is all happening, and it's happening right now. China building up their military so fast that they say that they're going to catch up to the numbers we have in our Navy by next year. That's insanity. That is meaning that they are producing mass ships, and they are doing it at the cost of they're literally sparing no cost on their Navy. So why do they plan on using it? Or why do people think that they're not planning on using it? I don't know. What do you guys think? Show me in the comments below. If I'm wrong, tell me. All right. And then further going, this is a piece. It says, wake up, America. China and Russia are plotting to destroy us. It says, in an excerpt from a shocking new book, The End of Democracy, leading campaign strategist Douglas Schoen exposes the China-Russia Cold War against America. And it says how it can incite the downfall of the free world. This is the book cover, of course, here. And why it matters is because a lot of people think that he's right. It says, it seems clear that CV will take the place in world history, a seismic event of the 21st century whose effects will only be fully understood over many years, even decades. What also seems clear is that the United States-China relationship will change, indeed must change. The question is how and along what lines. Among Americans, anger at China runs high. And I've been talking about this, how everything in the news, including Carlson's show the other night, Mr. Tucker, he had that scientist on there that essentially said not only did they make it, but they delivered it, they brought it out, and they distributed it, right? that kind of thing makes people extremely angry. And I actually do kind of look at the thing that, why is that the only media that's showing it? Some people will say, well, Fox isn't tied down by all of these other things. Or Fox could be tied into, politicians as well. And they are trying to get that through because something is coming our way. Do you guys get what I'm saying as far as even the what is the reason Fox News is saying such a shocking thing, having such a shocking guest on who says such a shocking thing? One, it very well could be true. And two, they could be preparing us to support a conflict with two of the biggest countries out there and two of the biggest powers. Now, people, kind of scoff at China and Russia by themselves, but together that would be quite a battle. And then when you throw in some of the smaller countries and the weapons that they've been accruing over the last few years, there's some pretty scary stuff in there. Not to mention all of the misplaced nuclear warheads that they have just floating around the Earth. There could be some serious damage. What do you think, though? Do you think that this is all just, made up? I personally don't think so. It says, among Americans, the anger at China runs high. American voters may, in short term, choose to blame the T-Man administration at the polls in November of 2020. In the long term, whoever they vote for, most Americans understand that China is responsible for a global catastrophe that could have been greatly minimized or even averted entirely had Beijing simply told the truth about it from the beginning. Now, some people wonder, and they say that if you know how China works, there's kind of a ladder, and nobody wants to be the one to blame, so they always blame the one underneath, and it's totally screwed up their politics internally, even as a communist state. It's completely put blame on the stupidest person out of all the groups. They hide things all the time. Nobody wants to be the one that's responsible because sometimes if you're the one responsible, you don't live anymore. And people don't want to admit this, but this is what's happening not only with how they rule their government, but inside their government. People disappear kind of like, our CIA makes people disappear, only they are almost more blatant about it. So you do not want to be on the negative side of the Chinese government, which brings me to one more thing that kind of freaked me out. And again, I'm not trying to freak people out. We need to be ready for this stuff. We need to think about it. And again, if you talk about it, then you take a lot of the fear out of it. But 90 nuclear scientists all resigning in the same day. A lot of folks are talking about that now, even more so than when it happened. Now that reverberated through the scientific community, and a lot of the scientists we've talked to have all said they believe they quit because they didn't want blood on their hands from whatever they are planning with their nuclear program. So you're talking about 90 out of about 200 scientists, half their scientists said, no, we're not going to do it, all on the same day. Somebody can make up some political reason why, but you just don't do that to the Chinese government. These aren't just like regular, grunt workers that they can just replace. These are educated people, educated scientists that have worked there for years and years and years, and all of them quit. My mind thinks about putting myself in their position, and maybe an order came down and said, we're going to be making these and we're going to be shooting them. And they said, nope, we're not having any part of this. Otherwise, there's a very small stack of why they would even do that. If you have a reason, let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the chat. Lots of stuff going on with China and Russia. And I'm one of the few that's, yelling at the top of my lungs that this is not just a distraction. They don't care about lives lost. There could be 2/3 of the entire world wiped out. They are sitting in their bunkers. They're sitting in their beautiful houses with bulletproof windows. They are warned in advance. They get to fly to New Zealand and, sit it out. And when it's all done, they rule the world. This is just a theory, right? You better hope so. It says no number of missteps from often bungling Western. And by the way, just want to add, for having these opinions, people think you're crazy or people think I'm crazy. That's fine. I get a ton of hate already, and it you can just add right on top of it. It's okay to think differently than the mob. Just letting you know. No number of missteps from often bungling Western governments can disguise Beijing's fundamental culpability. Recent polls in the United States suggest that Americans understand this. Overwhelming majorities blame China for causing this disaster. Moreover, the CV has darkened Americans' view of that country more broadly. It says a Pew poll, like a pew poll, showed 2/3 of American respondents now view this country negatively. Of course they do. And I bet you as we go on, that poll will only go up and up. And you'll see it to the point where it's 90% of Americans think negatively of that country. What I'm not seeing, though, is how they're trying to do the same thing with Russia a lot, too. The media is going to put you against them as well. I don't even want to see what they're going to do to really push it in. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that they are setting us up to hate them because ultimately they're going to need our support and not backlash for a conflict with these countries? It's just an idea. China and Russia have weaponized space with killer energy weapon satellites. This, again, is something that would just get you wiped off the internet because it was a theory. It was a sea theory that was fringe and off here in the sidelines. And, oh, okay, they have that. Well, now the DOD and the Pentagon has straight up said it. And they said that they have it, which means most likely it's been used and used recently. There's a lot of people think that this and other events, say in the West Coast, were actually events that we didn't even know about. If you look at some of the pictures of the burn areas, it's kind of freaky. Talking about 5 trees in between 2 houses, and both houses are melted. Porcelain, everything is just melted to the ground. Everything gone, down to the foundation, down to the concrete. But the trees still stand. Kind of funky. It says CNR have successfully weaponized space by deploying killer satellites with, quote, directed weapons. And it says the United States Secretary of Defense Mark Esper has claimed. It says Esper issued a stark warning at the Air Force Association's Virtual Air and Space and Cyber Conference on Wednesday. He claimed that the U.S.'s long-standing adversaries, quote, seek to erode our long-standing dominance in air power. It says in space, Moscow and Beijing have turned a once peaceful arena into a war-fighting domain. And what they mean is not only, they knew they had weapons, but why would they say this? Most likely because they saw them use them. Or that is the plan, to say that they use them and they have them. That's obvious. We've had them for years, but now both are using them. And now it is a full-scale conflict, but they haven't announced it yet. And watch, everybody will think I'm crazy up until when it happens, and then all of a sudden it doesn't matter. Nobody will care. They'll go, oh, he told us that. Nobody will care. Nobody's going to be watching me when this happens. Nobody's going to be watching the internet. It says, why do you think Russia separated their internet? Why do you think China's doing the same? Why do you think that they've set up an intranet? So they can do everything without anybody else in the world. Why do you think Russia is preparing to house all of its citizens in bunkers? Unlike us, which if in the event of a nuclear disaster, nobody knows what to do. There has never been a large-scale nuke drill here in the United States. Or if there is, it's... Dex, have we ever had a drill? A nuclear drill? And by the way, back in the 60s you did. But I'm talking about in this generation, even in the last 30 years. Do you know?
Adam, I can't recall ever having one. I remember the back in the late 70s doing the get under your desk drill as a little kid. But that's it. And that was maybe 1 year. And I don't think we ever did them again.
So let me ask you this. Since 99% of Americans consider nuclear weapons a real thing, and that it is a real possibility. There is no argument that it is a real possibility. How are we so unprepared for it? Nobody will know how to do. Do you know, out of the people you know, there might be a prepper here and there that might know what to do in a situation like that, or any massive disaster, but nobody is preppers. I mean, the prepper community is such a tiny community compared to the regular Joe that it's almost, I mean, it's stupid. We are completely dependent on Google. Think about this. Think about the people nowadays when all power goes out, no internet, no nothing, the stores run out of food, everything is gone. What are they going to do? They're not going to be able to Google what berries to eat. This is why I've told you guys, get books on these things and keep them in your go bag. At least get one that shows the foods that are edible in the woods, things like this. And people think that that's crazy. Is the military crazy for preparing for these things? Is the military crazy for doing drills all the time? Is the government crazy for doing these drills? So if they're doing these drills and if they're preparing for it and they are plotting it out and making sure they practice all the time for this, why are we looked at like we're crazy if we do the same thing? Well, I'll tell you why. Ever since the 60s or before that, it probably is as long as government has existed, they have made that look like they've made you look crazy. That's where the word conspiracy theory came from, JFK and all that. The NSA, CIA used that word to discredit people that were talking about real things. It's all a mind game. This is all a puppetry game, and they're figuring out how to do it. This is all psychology on a mass scale. Why do you think only 5 companies owns all media companies, down to the little local channels that you think are kind of independently run? They all go up to 1. That's why you can see these clips where they take hundreds and hundreds of news channels around the country that are all Fox affiliates or MSNBC affiliates or CNN affiliates. They're all little versions of the big boys. So even if you don't watch cable, you're watching your local news. That's just a little tiny finger of an arm that goes to the head. And they're all saying the same thing. That's why you see these combination clips where the same sentence, they'll have 50 people say the first word, the second word, third word, fourth word, fifth word. They all have the same script because it's put out there to convince us of whatever they have on the daily docket. Most of you guys already know this. I'm preaching to the choir. But now we're getting closer. And everybody knows this. Even with our stupid little dramas that we have inside the Foogle family, most people, even during this, they know there's way more serious stuff coming. And even if they disagree, they're probably putting it in the back of their head saying, okay, maybe I should get some stuff. Maybe I should prepare. A lot of the people that we were talking to a year ago when we kept doing these shows saying, hey, there's going to be a pandemic, a lot of those people had food when there was no food on the shelves. And that was because our whole purpose here is to just keep telling you, prepare, prepare, prepare. It's crazy. Furthermore, our competitors and adversaries exploit cyberspace to undermine our security without confronting our conventional strains. So they use a picture here. This is kind of what we're talking about. And just talking to the average person that doesn't know much about this, doesn't know what DEWs are. These are basically capable. And actually, we don't know the capabilities. They could wipe out a whole city. We don't know yet. But they can most definitely be satellite guided down to probably the headline on a newspaper. Or we don't know the spread of what the actual weapons do. My guess, though, is some sort of microwave technology, judging on what we've covered before, on the documents that we covered, on Raytheon, on Northrop Grumman, and all of the other companies that we've kind of picked apart these little things. All of the stuff you guys have sent in is why I believe I have got a good grasp on this. And this is why I feel like I'm at least knowledgeable enough to let you guys know that not only are these real, but we're going to be seeing them used on a mass level. And I believe soon. This is the perfect thing. I mean, you can't see where it's coming from. There's really no defense, especially the surprise factor. That's why they have the Space Force up there probably doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Even if it's all made up, they're doing it. They're going to do something because they're telling us that it's going to happen. If people can't see the setup in every single media, all 5 of those companies having every single media push towards these 2 countries, then I don't know what it is. People go, well, it would have happened already, or they think that it's up to chance, like it might just go unravel and we'll be all peaceful again. That won't happen until people get the land they want, the countries they want. And you're talking about a country that their overall goal in their almost religion, their heavenly guide is that they should be ruling the world. The president that talks about it all the time. Their emperor, their whatever you want to call him. So this is just another big thing in history. Dex, do you have anything to say about hypersonic or directed stuff? I know that you know. Obviously, you've been with me this whole time. We've picked apart these employees from Northrop Grumman and Raytheon calling in and emailing and
right. And
remember the missiles? All of a sudden, we had multiple confirmations that Raytheon not only cleared out their employee parking lot to put extra stuff because they were producing missiles at every minute and a half, which was up from like every 11 or 12 minutes. Now they're making one every 90 seconds, a missile. You remember that, Dex?
Oh yeah, I remember that, and I think I got to give credit to the current administration and what they're doing as far as rebuilding and building up our supplies. Right? I mean, they've been telling us that, and obviously they've been doing it. We have to think about, what does that mean? Is it just about having a strong military, or are they actually doing it to prepare for something? But what really bothers me is we see more and more of the mainstream putting out information about China and what's happening. And, like whether it's in space or with the Navy, and especially all the talk about the size of the Navy and how fast they're building their ships. I mean, they went from having no Coast Guard to having over 200 ships as a Coast Guard now in a very short amount of time, to having a Navy fleet that's as big or bigger than ours. Not more powerful according to our own leaders, but definitely large in number of ships, right? So that's just hearing that information hitting like every other article, every other headline, every day for the last, it's been ramping up. It used to be we get one a week, a couple a month. Now we're getting it day after day after day. And it's really part of the programming to the rest of us as to what is really going on. What are they planning? What are they preparing us to know? Right?
Exactly. And with everything that is happening all across the world, as far as the event that everybody is covering their faces for, this is all kind of, there's so much more they can do when they have these things in place, especially since different locations, as they want to move things or do things, they can actually kind of somewhat lock that down. I mean, you've got on the 18th, in fact, tomorrow. Wow, today was supposed to be one of the big days, but tomorrow is a date that everybody is talking about because the 18th is when goes back onto lockdown. They are the first country to have a full-scale lockdown once again. And I still believe we have a second wave and a second set of lockdowns. And this time, it may be worse. Think about the way you were thinking when it was fully locked down in most states, all across the world. Borders were closed, no flights anywhere. I mean, or basically no flights really. And you had checkpoints in Indiana and these places across the states. There was checkpoints in New York, checkpoints in Chicago, checkpoints. Think about the world we are in right now. So throw away the brain that wants to say, oh, this is all just phooey schmooey. It's time for the sleeping sheep to wake up. This country is about to see some big events.
Hey, Adam, I do have a sort of funny update. I just read this headline because you reminded me, like, today is the big day for Washington, right? It was supposed to be, I think it was called Adbusters was planning their 50-day White House siege starting September 17th, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, that was now, they've actually, and it was supposed to be it was promoted on social as a non-violent protest, but it turns out they've now changed it. It's going to be 50 days of jazz improv.
Wait a second. Can you put the link to that? You guys remember seeing this, and it said that it was, the same people that did Occupy put this notice out. Everybody talked about it for a long time because this was, a lot of people chattering about, is this going to be the start of something crazy? Now, he's saying that same thing, when you go there, it says they've changed it to jazz? You got to be kidding. We'll look at that. If you can put that link also.
Okay, I just put it in the screener under urgent. Look at that. And then that's from heavy.com, but they were sort of making fun of the fact that it's sort of changed. And that's the first I've heard of it, because I've been waiting to see, was it going to start tonight? Was it going to start today?
Okay, so for the folks that are listening driving, I'm going to pull this up and I'll describe what we're looking at. So it says, Adbusters September 17 White House siege is now 50 days of improv jazz. I wonder if that's like some sort of code, or like, I don't understand. So they went from, this is going to be a protest, to let's play some Kenny G. I'm super confused. Well, so this is one thing that people probably stressed about, that we can say it's going to be a carnival of joyful resistance. Probably because they're done using the rights for poll. I don't know. Okay, so that's good. And then we're also going to be talking about here in a minute 3 oil plants, or 3 oil refineries, I guess. We're going to be looking at that, have exploded in the last 24 hours, or at least that's what we're getting in here. So we're going to try to add that to the show as well. Dex, I did send you a text with the information. If you can find that, we'll put it on before the next call. Speaking of which, we're going to have our next caller. But first, just a message of reminder, if you guys want to support us in a different way, you can always do that through us and get an EMP shield. An EMP shield can actually protect you against an electromagnetic pulse. All 3 phases, E1, E2, E3. This is the same company that is not only doing it for consumers, but is now contracted with different governments. They've worked with DHS, DOD, and now they are officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. So this is no joke. Keystone tested. This device can be placed on, in fact, there's different devices that protect different things. You can get one that protects your house, your vehicle, your generator, those main 3. If you have that, say you have a house full of devices, they're not going to be fried. Your vehicle, if you want to get to your bug out spot, and after the grid goes down, if you don't have one protecting your generator, then what are you going to start up? Also, people don't think about solar protection. Again, they think that, oh, well, I have solar panels, so I'll be fine. If the main components of your solar panels are screwed up, then you're not. So again, you can protect all of these with EMP Shield. That is, again, marfooglenews.com/EMP. You not only get a discount through us, but you will also help out the channel at the same time. Thank you guys that have already done this and supported. And thank you to EMP Shield for being an awesome company. All right, let's get into the first call. We already have, in fact, we have most of the lines free. We do actually still have a line left. So if you want to call in, again, the number is 224400-MARF. Call in now. All right, let's get in. First caller, great caller. We've actually had him call in before. We did a show on his previous video. What is going on? Sunlight Suckers, you're live.
Hey, Marv. Hey, yeah, I wanted to talk to the fam about healing, how to keep our. So I wrote some notes. I always get so nervous every time I call. It drives me nuts. So we all know what the future events come, and health is such an important thing. There's really only 4 things and now, first off, disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, nor do I know how to heal cancer or any ailment that you may have. That being said, there's really only 4 things that keep people sick. Viruses, parasites, bacteria, and fungi. And then 5 if you count the V, you know what I'm saying? But we'll not get into that.
Yep.
And most of the fam knows how to stay healthy is to live a balanced lifestyle. And let's see, where am I at? For example, eating. Most people don't know that milk is bad for you. Dairy is not good for you. You can contract 9 different bacteria, 2 different types of parasites, and I want to say like over 20 types of different fungi you can get just from drinking milk. And it's just crazy. And that's kind of where Biomag comes into play. I think you got I have no affiliation with this site. I'm just a big fan. I've been working with it for about almost a year. And Biomag therapy, it's a combination, body, spirit, and it brings everything into balance. And when you're in balance, your body's at the right pH, and it brings it back to homeostasis. When your body is out of pH, you are a perfect host for parasites, viruses, bacteria, and fungi. And, and that's what keep people sick. And they don't, it just, with the way that we do things here in the West, this has been around a long, long time ago. I mean, Tesla was big into it, and you have your frequency healing and there are other, I hate that word. I always trip on it. Different healing methods that do work. This is the one I found that would work out in my situation via the fact that in the future, what can you rely on to stay healthy? And what it is it's using magnets to put your body back into pH where these viruses or bacteria can't live inside you. When we talked about the CV thing in 2018, and this was on the CDC website, TB, what was it? Dang it. I lost it. TB killed 1.5 million in 2018, right? It's the most common pathogen in the U.S. and worldwide. It's asymptomatic. Symptoms usually misdiagnosed. Gale, kidney stones, boner heel spurts, hair lice, chronic cough, halitosis, hemorrhoids, just to name a few. And a lot of these ailments are asymptomatic. And I had TB. I didn't even know it. Jamie's the one that told me that. Jamie Lee from playing, he's the one that, enlightened me on this. And then you have a pet, perfect example. Your pet's probably had a rabies V. Well, if you have a pet, you probably have rabies. And again, it's asymptomatic. And all these different little things by themselves, they're not going to lower your immune system by any means, but they add up. And that's where, organ failure comes from, or kidney failure. Another thing that Western medicine doesn't teach us, or that they left out, I should say, is that...
I don't mean to interrupt, but I was just hoping, are we getting...
I got a minute left.
Because this does sound... Yes, you're fine. But does this... Because it does sound kind of like an ad. You've been here for 3 years, and I love your calls. Yeah. So is there a place... Just to finish up, is there a place where they can go? Obviously, this website is a good one.
Yes.
But again, are you doing videos on this on your channel?
No, I'm not. I'm a self-student, and I'm learning.
So you're learning
the therapy myself. The website, the one that I gave you, that is Dr. Garcia's website. He's kind of he took what a doctor did down in South America and kind of put it all on paper and really fine-tune the practice. And they sell a book that I love. I bought one. I've invested a little bit of money into this because I've gotten results, and I've seen results. I've felt it, and it is energy-based healing. So it's all about the flow of energy and keeping that right. You can,
but what you were saying is that you
or anywhere else.
Did you actually invested money into this because what it has at the bottom is a seminar on the bottom of the website. The company. I actually believe what you're saying is true about the pH. I've heard many things about that. I would love to be a part of that seminar. There's like a 6-month waiting list just to get into it, and especially with the events going on, there's no way I would travel cross country. No, I get you.
For it. It's just too risky.
All right. Well, but again, if we could wrap it up and try to put a bow on it and give them a place where they can go and we can link it. I just want to say one more thing, and I don't want to. I know you guys got something in the works, since the Discord went down, and I don't want to step on your toes. I cried when the Discord went down, and I just wanted to Snafu Snaps. If you guys still are on the Discord, he has a server, but Kirsha drew up a server, Project Unity. So if anybody's still on, that we can still come together a little bit there. If anybody's still on Discord, that's all. I just wanted to throw a little shout out there. All right. Well, thank you. And I love the fam. Hope everyone's doing well. Talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Sunlight Suckers. Again, I think a lot of people agreed with Sunlight Suckers about the pH. The only thing is I just have, I didn't mean to say it like that. It's the personal experience with the seminar type stuff. And somehow they always get you to kind of buy product or this or that. I would just make sure, again, like we always warn, do your own research and always consult with professionals. Legal, medical, or financial advice. If you go to that website, just understand it is probably set up as a business as well, and maybe it's actually the best thing ever. In fact, I bet you there are some people in our Foogle family that are, somebody who is unemployed that might actually do well and help people at the same time. There are good ones like that. You have to realize there's actually good ones that you're helping people at the same time as, in fact, health-wise. You're helping at the same time as making a business for yourself. I don't get why people are anti-capitalist. That's America. That's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of freedom, is that you can try whatever way you want to get there to the American dream. So anyways, without waiting any longer, we'll get back into the news. I do want to say thank you to a few people here. J-Dude, MRSA, Cricky, MRSA1, RN247. Thank you guys for a bunch of subs that were just given out there, mostly from MRSA1. Thank you so much, MRSA. I have a feeling that you're probably on the top contributors list. I can't see it, but MRSA1, thank you for the Ninja Guinea as well. MG Till Forever, Wifey for Life. It would be funnier if it was Wifey for Lifey. Bruntstruck, and we've got Ken M. We've got a Mary Ian. I think I'm saying that right. NG Whalen, Unicorn Forest, Kahaja Fly Girl, Grace for You Too, says, love the Foogle fam. Don't ever give up hope. Kelly2334, good idea. And then Kahaja Fly Girl, M Menching. And then we've got Heaven's Calling and Sly the Coffee. Dream last night, explosions block by block here in LA. At a bank, children with fevers, very scary. Shy the Coffee, I've mentioned it now to Jacob Israel. Jacob Israel is kind of, he doesn't even self-proclaim it. He is kind of a dream expert. But I've thought about having a show on dreams for a long time. It's now finally, I think, coming together. And then also a show on UFO experiences. We have a lot of callers and a lot of people across the country and the world that have had weird experiences. So that is in the works as well. Get GT Thomas, thank you so much for your support. Kelly2334, Bobby D. And then Ita Browning, thank you so much for your support. Tamara Rodriguez, I was told 10 years ago by TSA to have good fake passport because they would be checkpoints, by the way, states and such. That's freaky. And then Australia, out of Australia, Toss Dare says, I hope Mrs. Marf, you and family are doing really well. Thank you, Toss Deer. I appreciate that. Marky Sparky, thank you for your support as well. Kate, thank you, Marf, Dex, and Mods. Continue the good works. Spread, seek, love, truth. And then Rhiannon S. Aloha from Hawaii. Thanks to Marf, Dex, and the Mods. Doc Bill, and then Dusty Duggar. Dusty Digger, thank you. You weren't even in the show yet. You said, can one of the mods post the link for the grounding mat so Marf gets credit for it? Please. Thank you. Dusty Digger, I appreciate that. Seriously. Thanks for waiting to get it through us. That's really appreciated. Okay. Let's get back into the news. We've got some pretty weird ones here and some pretty crazy ones. Okay, so I tweeted this out yesterday. This is a big deal, and of course, like always, they're going to say it's a drill or it's part of an exercise. Let me ask you this. Why do you think they would put long-range artillery in Alaska? Which is exactly what they do. They did. It says, U.S. Army deploys long-range artillery systems to Alaska. The U.S. Army has moved its high-mobility artillery rocket system, or HIMARS, to Alaska on September 12th in support of Defender Pacific 2020. Defender Pacific. So defending the Pacific. Thunderbolts with the 5th Battalion, 3rd Field Artillery Regiment, 17th Field Artillery Brigade deployed HIMARS to Erikston Air Station, Shemya Island, Alaska on September 12th in support of Defender Pacific, said in a statement. It says the mission focuses on expeditionary deployment operations through M142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, or HIMAR, rapid infiltration training. Rapid infiltration training, which showcases a crew combat readiness and quick precision striking ability by rapidly preparing and mobilizing the HIMARS. So wait, so what they're saying is that they're drilling to get these set up and running extremely quickly. I wonder why they would need that. I'll tell you my opinion on this. These would be used against Dex. Let me ask you this: from where these are in Alaska, would these be pointed out towards the water, or would these defend Alaska against an invasion and a takeover of Alaska? Because Alaska is separate from the main, from main U.S. and it's on the other side of Canada. Would these be closer and more headed out towards the ocean? Do you think would these defend us against, say, Chinese or somebody like that?
I think it's probably, it certainly could. I'm more inclined to think it's Russian and going across the Arctic, right? Coming straight across the poles.
So they could land if they had to land. Let's actually show you a world map here. Why would they put them in Alaska? There's obviously a strategic reason. So, sorry guys, the smoke has been killing me.
And Adam, you're talking about the artillery systems, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that, because when you come across like Siberia, you can come straight across the pole area, and our most northern piece of land would be Alaska, right? Obviously, I mean Maine, but I think Alaska's further north.
Well, if you wrap this around Alaska, there would be Alaska here, Russia here, and then China below it. So both would come from that direction. Everybody, when you look at it like this, it's funny because you think of them coming all the way across from over here. But this wraps around. So Russia and China would be coming from the west coast, most likely, I would assume. And this would be the first land that they would hit. They could go through and take Canada and take United States. They would most likely hit multiple points. They, of course, have the Spratly Islands out here. So they could go straight here, and straight there. They could even go up and through Mexico as well. Not to mention they've teamed up with some of these countries down here in Southern America. In fact, when we stopped footing the bill for 3 of the South American countries, guess who was probably going to pick those up? Russia and China. So then Venezuela is down here as well. They could go march right through Mexico. Mexico doesn't have nothing compared to some of these other countries. So you're talking about a kind of a trilateral approach from up here, over here, and over here. And then very well, they could have Navy and submarines bomb the crap out of us from the East Coast in the Atlantic Ocean. What do you guys think? I'm not a war expert. If you are, then call in 224-400-MARF. How realistic do you guys think an invasion would be? Do you think it's just totally out there in Phantasmo land? I don't know. I've been coughing up a storm, man. Jeez. All right. With that being said, on to our next story. H.R. McMaster says terrorism, climate among top threats to U.S. in 60 Minutes interview with Scott Pelley. It says on 60 Minutes has been the gold standard for news magazine television programs since its inception in 1968. Sunday, September 20th, on the show premieres its 53rd season. Correspondent Scott Pelley has been with CBS News since 1989 and has traveled the world as a reporter for 60 Minutes for the last 2 decades. Well, it says now his newest interview here is one that is quite freaky. It says, last week, Pelley's interviewed journalist and author Bob Woodward about his new book, Rage, and his conversations with President T-Man. And this week, Pelley chats with the former National Security Advisor, H.R. McMaster, about his career and the time in the T-Man administration. Pelley's interview with McMaster will provide details about the former National Security Advisor's battle with President T-Man over pulling troops out of Afghanistan. It says his thoughts on climate and war against cybersecurity threats. So all of these things are on the main stage being set. You've got every little piece coming together that I don't see how anybody could see that we are not lining and aligning ourselves for a conflict with these countries. Even if it's a big distraction, we might have half of our government in on it. And they may have a position after some sort of forceful takeover. Imagine if we were being sabotaged from inside our own country. That sounds wild and wacky, right? What do you think? Do you think that possibly we might just have some spies inside of our government, or maybe just some opportunists that after the takeover will have a nice little mansion and a nice little piece of the Chinese dream? Just a thought. What do you guys think? Did you watch, or I'm sorry, will you watch the McMaster interview? After seeing this, I definitely am going to. Kaja Flygirl BG, the truth, thank you. We need to keep our eyes on the skies. Again, with the cryptic stuff like Elon Musk. We're going to get into that here in a minute. Lots more to come. IS take over stunning islands where Daniel Craig and Bono holiday, really? Holiday, burning down luxury hotels and imposing this law. Check this out. Can I get Sharia for $500, Alex? IS militants have taken over Paradise Islands in the Indian Ocean, burning down hotels and imposing their law. It says luxury islands off the coast of Mozambique, where A-list celebrities spend their holidays, have been overrun by insurgents linked to this state. Wow, this is incredible. And what do you want to bet that this was not only funded by one of the 3 main countries, but is also a setup for something as well? Dex, I'm going to bring you in as well on this. This is sort of strange. This is a weird story to hear. Of course, we knew that our Navy was headed off for cartel members. Now you've got some of these Paradise Islands being taken over by insurgents. What do you think's going on here? Do you think that they're taking this island for strategic purposes? Doesn't really make sense.
Well, it's certainly, yeah, it's very odd. I think the thing that struck me was the fact that we've, in theory, we've basically crushed this group to the point where they didn't have any place to go anymore. Like we in theory, we've taken them out of the ME, right? So now the question is, what's left of them and what are they doing? And we're starting to see them try to reform. And obviously, according to this article, they've, taken siege on an island. And, when you think you squish this bug, I guess it's going to continue to come back. So we'll see how this continues to evolve. But this is part of the narrative right now.
Well, we'll see what happens. We're going to be following it. I'm just curious if the A-list celebrities, if any of them own property there that's getting burnt down. I guess we'll see. On the other hand, if you guys want to support us in a different way, of course, I would highly suggest getting a virtual private network. If you do not want to be attacked online, this is one of the ways that you can help protect yourself. There are more cyber criminals right now than ever before, especially with CV. Everybody that is working from home, the criminals know that. So they are going up in numbers daily. You can get a special savings by the code Marfoogle. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Again, this helps the channel and it actually helps protect you. Right now, we are building an app, and we thank everybody. I talked to a few people today. I really do thank everybody that has supported us through this. We are building our own platform just in case something happens with this one. So it doesn't just do itself. So thank you. All right, and then going into it, we're going to get our next caller in. Then we're going to talk about Assange saying that they're ripping off his clothes, x-raying him, and putting him in a vertical coffin daily. This sounds like something out of Hannibal. Does it not? Can you see Assange in a vertical coffin being wheeled on like a handcart? Pretty freaking... This is freaky. Dex, if you want to pull in the next caller... by the way, I think that's the real Secure Team 10 here. Thanks for being here, man. It's an honor to have you. I've been... I told the story yesterday, I believe, how you used a small clip of my channel, because obviously 2 million subscribers, a small clip, and I got, I think, my first 500 subscribers from you sending people to my channel. So thank you. All right, and then let's see here. You are live.
And Adam, we have the next caller on.
All right, cool. And this is Reed, RE55 from Missouri.
Hey, Marf.
What is going on?
You hear me?
Yes, I do. So you have a video here. What is? Can you explain what I'm about to be pulling up?
Well, this is, I believe it's a satellite I caught that was going towards Fiji, I believe it's where it finally ended up. It was on, you reported this last week, and this happened on the 29th of August. And I didn't even look at, I went back and looked at the pictures I took that day, because this one that I got, this one video has some unusual objects in it. It wasn't a plane, and it wasn't a UFO, what I would call a UFO. It looks like a big clunky old satellite that's been up there for 50 years. But anyway, that's what I caught.
So now I didn't get a timestamp. You usually kind of do a timestamp. This is about 3 minutes long. That's fine. We can actually play it. But what are we looking at? So now it's the sunset.
The very beginning is it just shows you what it looks like before it gets into the video, and also you get to see a red sunset there, or sunrise.
Beautiful.
How red it is out there. Yeah. And but it's about minute 23 is where the actual video starts of this object coming in or going down or wherever.
So if you guys have not, RE55 has called in before, and he has a special kind of camera that zooms in. I don't even know how many times, like 900 times or something, 900x. He takes the most
60,
beautiful
60
videos.
times optical zoom.
So it's optical. It's not digital. There's not. He gets some of the most amazing shots.
It's a 60 times.
So okay, now we're seeing it. Again, he has sent some crazy stuff in here. You've had some of the best calls we've ever had on the show. You guys, if you haven't seen RE55's channel, make sure to go over and love mob him again. If you're new, Love mobs are where we send everybody to a channel. I'll make sure to link RE55 on marfooglenews.com. So this is the, what is that? So some would say
that's what I caught. This is a blown up picture there. Yeah.
So some would say that's a jet, but it doesn't. If you look at this on big screen, it does not look like one. It almost looks like multiple objects.
Well, it's a big ton. If this is that satellite that came down that day, it weighs over a ton, and it's actually in orbit still. But it looks like it's coming down, but that's just the way it looks. It's getting dragged on by the atmosphere more and more as it's getting closer to burn up, which is 5,000 miles away from where I'm at in Fiji or Tahiti.
Wow. I didn't even realize what we were looking at in the first frame. I thought that was a shot of the ground. Wow. That is incredible.
That's what you're looking at blown up, yeah. And a lot of times you'll see something like this and you won't believe it's anything but another plane going by. But this thing was just unbelievably way up there and going fast. And it's actually over my head when I started noticing it. And it's just going out away from me. It's not going down like, right directly down in front of me, but it's going out away from me and going way out there. But and there's another part of it breaking up, something else I think I've got too. But
I'm going to go back to this again when you can look at this. Ari, you seriously... so Ari is dedicated to looking at the skies. He does it every day. Like in real life, Ari spends pretty much every sunrise and every sunset looking up at the sky and videotaping it. And he has called in and gotten some of the most amazing footage. Things that legitimately deserve to be on much bigger channels or on that should be picked up by websites that serve millions and millions of people. It's very lucky to have you call in, Ari. I really appreciate you showing us this.
Only for you, Marv and Dex, because you guys I've been watching for so long now, and it's like I spend more time than anybody. I've been watching you guys your shows than anybody else. I don't think I've spent 2 hours watching anybody else hardly in a day. But usually I'll watch you the next day. I don't stay up all night watching. Last night I caught something, Marv, that was pretty weird. And I'm working on it right now, but it was an object coming down. It looked like it could be a UFO. I don't know what it was, but I heard Mike Morales today brought up a deal on a little clip or a video he put out. He said he saw something on a truck going down this highway right here, not very far from where I saw what I think I saw was a UFO going down, but he saw something on the truck with a tarp over it, headed, with an escort. And I seen helicopters 20, 30 minutes later going over my house. I mean, big helicopters going over my house. I mean, I think, what is going on out here? And I didn't even know what I've got on video yet. So I started looking at the video, and I've got something going down. I don't know what it is.
Well, I can't wait to see it, Ari. And again, thank you for calling into the show. When you get that, please call us and let us watch it. That would be an honor for me to play it.
I'm working on it. All right, good deal.
All right, I'm gonna show your channel again, of course. In fact, we helped Ari get his first 1,000, and now he's almost up to 4 on his own. So make sure to go show some love. Ari55, peace and love. I love it. Okay, thank you so much, Ari. You have a wonderful night. Be safe. Be prepared.
Thank you, Ed.
Jennifer Miller, what is going on? Thank you for being here tonight. We've got Rev Nerd. I think that's it. Security Team Nen. I don't know why I did Jurassic Park. Anyways. Fake invasion in the making, says Brad A. Randy Newman says, boom. Jstone78 actually just put RA55's link in there if you want to go copy that or go over there now. Zealot Now Chosen, thank you for being here. And what I was trying to say is Secure Team 10 or Tyler, thanks for watching. Yeah, I so used to saying your full name there. Okay, so get into this. I'm going to... First off, start off, I know people argue whether Assange is a good guy, bad guy, whatever, but it's definitely a weird situation. As far as him staying in that embassy for a long time and then getting arrested and taken out, and now in custody, there's, of course, a lot of people online. There's whole Reddits dedicated to him. He, of course, was WikiLeaks founder, and he let out a lot of crazy information. They also said that he had a kill switch type thing to where if somebody knocked him off, all of this information would be released. Obviously, I don't know if they ever ended up, they caught him, but they haven't killed him. Maybe that's why he's still alive. I think he has information that nobody else has still to this day. That's my personal opinion. What do you guys think? It says WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is facing up to 175 years in prison in the U.S. under the Espionage Act for his publication of leaked classified documents exposing alleged U.S. war crimes during its operations. The journalist is currently trying to fight extradition to the U.S., where many say he will not receive a fair trial. It says Stella Morris, Julian Assange's fiancée and member of his legal team, said on Twitter that he is undergoing X-ray scanning every day as his extradition hearing continues in London. Imagine the big guys who quite possibly want to get him out because he's got info on them, or think about, possibly the groups that might even try to do a jailbreak and grab him. This guy spent time and was protected by an embassy, was actually protected by a government embassy for a while there. So you never know what was going on. Of course, he was in the Ecuadorian embassy for how long? I don't even know. It felt like it was a long time. It was like any news about him was like, oh, he peeked out the window. But then, of course, he finally got taken out of there. Imagine being stuck in a hotel room or an embassy room for possibly years. It's nuts. This whole thing is crazy, and he constantly pops up in the news. Oh my gosh, tell me that those little Assanges? Oh my gosh, his kids look just like him. Have you guys ever seen pictures of these kids? This kid literally looks like a mini Assange. Doesn't look at all like the mother. This one looks more like the mom. That is kind of funny. He looks just like his dad. Anyways, I always think it's interesting when you look at two parents and you see the kid and what traits they took on. Raquel R. says, I can't even imagine as far as being stuck in a room for years. Think about CV-19 lockdown, but voluntary and for years. Not fun, I'm sure. Let's see. Erica Fox says, hi, Marfoogle family. Thank you for being here. Carolyn Lowe, longtime Foogle family. I think you've been here over 2 years, so thank you so much for being here tonight. Save Assange. Get rid of sores. I think you meant sore. Oh, maybe? Crazy stuff. Military police leaders weighed deploying heat ray against DC protesters. This is a big deal. And as far as you're talking about energy being directed at people, this is another one. And then Dex, I know you had something to talk about on this. If you want to pop in at any time, go ahead. It says, hours before federal police officers cleared a crowded park near the White House with smoke and tear gas on June 1st, the lead military police officer in the Department of in the Department of Defense for the D.C. region asked if the D.C. National Guard had a kind of military heat ray that might be deployed against demonstrators in the nation's capital, according to one of the most senior National Guard officers on the scene. So,
isn't this crazy, Adam? This is what we've been talking about, and we've been asking. We've been saying it. Like, when you've got all these people out there, why aren't you using? Why aren't they using that technology? We know they have it, right? And here we are now. It's coming out that they were actually themselves considering should they use it or not.
And what we're talking about is an active denial system type of thing. It's non-lethal. It makes your skin burn. It uses the same, get this, the same technology that your new bandwidth uses. That number 1G, 2, 3, 4, 5 millimeter wave technology. This is kind of a simple kind of thing. It's 95 gigahertz. And just to remind you, this is just a tiny bit off gigahertz wise, because the 5 and that is about 90 gigahertz, I believe. And we're talking about gigahertz. Giga. Basically 5 more gigahertz and it would burn your skin. But that's for a whole nother show. But this is the system, and what it does is anywhere it's pointed, and it can be wide or very targeted, it goes for as long as basically sight. And say you're running one direction, if they point that at you, you're going to run the opposite direction. There's nothing you can do about it. Your entire body feels like it's burning. And I don't know if it is actually burning. I believe it just makes your sensors, it burns in a weird way that if you're holding a weapon, you would drop it. If you are, full on charging, they did this at a whole crowd of people. They would just go the opposite direction. What I wonder is, why are they not using this? If it is available, and they do have a bunch of these now, by some of the estimates, they have a good enough amount to deploy to every city in the United States. Why wouldn't they? If it doesn't have any permanent side effects, why wouldn't they use it? It's non-lethal, and there's not really much that can block it. I don't know. I guess they could put a lead thing up, or I don't know. I don't even know if there is something that blocks it. It only reacts to the inner layer of our skin. That, from what I hear. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So, using a heat ray, and now they're talking about it in public, which, by the way, last year we talked about hot musket, and hot musket people said was fake because, why did they say that our caller talking about hot musket was fake? One, because the Pentagon directly responded to this little show and said that it wasn't a real thing, that it didn't exist. It was an operation, and supposedly it was a deployment to the border during all that stuff going on with the border. And supposedly that gentleman was going to be deployed on one of these Jeeps. That was what the code referenced that he was going to be deployed to. We saw the form, whatever else. People said that it was a template. I still there was no, you could look up any number on Google and it will find something from 1983 that shared that. They've reused those numbers. They've reused template numbers. They've reused that. So anyways, he was supposedly done on this, and the reason it was called hot musket is because it would possibly heat up to the point where you would drop the weapon. And people thought at that time that hot musket was civil war, that we were going to see a civil, conflict. Musket is in the original Civil War. So that was back then. The Pentagon directly responded to something that was started here on this little show, and they said that it was not, that it doesn't exist. But yet now, just a year later, we're all talking about it. Now they're even mentioning it out in public. Oh, we're going to use the heat rays and these things. Of course they're going to. And now that they've announced all this stuff, because it does contain technology that shouldn't really be out there, and now that they know China and Russia have these things, now we're going to see it. And quite possibly, if you've ever protested, instead of being tear gassed and rubber bulleted, you'll have your skin burned with some weird millimeter technology. Just a thought. All right. Well, this is, again, just to see, it says the ADS was developed by the military some 20 years ago as a way to disperse crowds. There have been questions about whether it worked or should it be deployed in the first place. It uses, get this, millimeter wave technology to essentially heat the skin of people targeted by its invisible ray. In his written response, DeMarco, who has sought whistleblower protection, quoted from an email he said was forwarded to him, originated from the Provost Marshal, which read, ADS can provide our troops a capability that they currently do not have, the ability to reach out and engage potential adversaries at distances well beyond small arms range and in safe, effective, and non-lethal manner. You see why this would be so hush-hush? They're going to use this for something bigger and crazier. This very well may be... I don't know if you remember this, but they had coverings over all of these different military installations. I don't know if you've watched for 2 years, you might have heard the caller say, hey, and he ended up taking video. All of their Jeeps, all of the Hummers were all covered with an actual like cloth covering, and what they said is that they were changing out the weapons on top. Well, guess what vehicle they're using for this? Are they possibly preparing just a ton of these? And is there something that they know is coming to where they're going to need to use them? Why would you be so hush-hush on a technology we've had for 25 years? Doesn't make too much sense. What do you guys think, though? Kelly2334, thank you so much for your support tonight. Kahaja Flygirl, again, thank you. Reading the Gospel. Tower Bear, I found out about Marf watching Secure Team 10. Isn't that crazy? Is that full circle or what? And then, of course, Tyler, I don't know if he's still here, but freaking awesome. We all want more videos, Tyler. Let's see here. They want the riots to happen. J-Stone 182. What is going on? Winston Breaks. What's going on? Hill Liberty. HW Liberty. Love it. Randy Simmons, Wilson H. What is going on? Dorothy Adams, and then Northwest Olympics. How are you guys doing tonight? Pirates Paradise Bartending. I love it. Pirates Paradise Bar Bartending. I love it. Look at this. Rather than kill us now, they give us cancer, says Tyler. Very, very, very true. Seuss Yarman, Dick Nixon says, just look at the tats. Just look at them. Z-Lot Now Chosen says, hi, Tyler. Nice to see you around. Scott Kitchell says, Tyler led me here years ago. Isn't that super, super nuts? Every person who receives a beam from this will have cancer. Yeah, otherwise, why would they not be using it? It makes a lot of sense. All right, and then, and guys, you know what happens when I'm in a chat is everybody, ends up making a big deal out of it. But sometimes we like watching shows too. 10-foot alligator seen swimming in Hurricane Sally, floodwaters in Gulf Shores. As Mobile, Alabama meteorologist Thomas G. Boy points out, debris and possibly downed power lines aren't the only reasons residents should stay out of Hurricane Sally floodwaters. Wildlife, specifically a large alligator, is another. It says a video G-Boy shared on social media showed an estimated 10 to 12-foot gator swimming through the floodwaters near a Gulf Shores home after Hurricane Sally came ashore Wednesday morning. Okay, so this is like freaky. This is like a lot of people's nightmare is one, having in fact, I think there was a movie just recently put out. And the whole premise was a hurricane came in, and I think it had Mel Gibson in it. In fact, I'm trying to think of that movie's name. If you have it, put it in the chat. But it was a crocodile that just kept hunting them. And what happened is the hurricane brought the floodwaters, and these two people were trapped in their house. I'd love somebody knows the name of that movie. I still have not seen it though. Go Gators. It probably works with 5G effectively, says Danny K. Funny how these people say dairy is bad, but go eat McDonald's. I won't be eating McDonald's. Just so you know, I found out that a lot of the corporate won't let them do it, but a lot of the private franchise McDonald's have lowered their American flag. And people say, where's the source? Go down to your local McDonald's. It's really offensive. And that's basically in support of you know what. Because now apparently it's a bad symbol. Which, by the way, they say that the right has adopted the flag. It shouldn't be a left or right thing, just to let you know. And I will let you know, during the civil conflict in the 1800s, they politicized the flag. During WW1, they politicized the flag. During WW2, they politicized the flag. So if history repeats itself and we're seeing a pattern of so many proportions, then what does it mean if we're politicizing the flag again? Just saying. I want to see this video. Do we have the Twitter, Dex, or is it... okay, we do. Okay. One. All right, we do have... Okay, look at this. This is nuts. It says, another reason to shelter in place until floodwaters recede. Not only are there downed power lines, but there's also displaced wildlife. This 10 to 12-foot alligator was just outside of a house in Gulf Shores on Plash Island earlier this morning. Check this out.
Oh my God, this is outside of our window. It is a 10 or 12-foot alligator.
What is kind of weird, did it sound like she had like home windshield wipers?
Oh my God, this is outside of our window. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is outside of our window.
Her voice.
It is a 10 or 12-foot alligator.
Oh my God. Seriously though, can you imagine looking out your window at that in the city? Oh, that is spooky. Oh my gosh. What if you go outside or something to grab something or put a sandbag and you see that? That is a really big alligator. She's probably even underestimating. That looks bigger than 10 to 12 feet. I'm sorry. That's a huge alligator. Most alligators are, most of the sightings people see are smaller alligators. Even in Florida, some of these places, they don't see the giant alligators all the time. It's mostly little sightings or small crocodiles or small alligators. That thing's giant. That is freaky. And then we have a kind of a better view of it. Oh, man. That is nuts looking. Oh, I guess this is actually a different video. This is closer in.
And Adam, that noise.
Oh my God, this is...
What is it?
Well, if you notice, the wind is just continuously blowing. And so that's like and it can be worse depending on what size the hurricane is and what stage it's in. But that's what you listen to the whole time. It's probably the siding on the house flapping back and forth.
Yeah, see, it shows that I'm from Seattle. We don't have hurricanes. We have earthquakes. We have liberals, but we don't have hurricanes.
Well, and these poor people sat through this for a very long time because that hurricane was moving at 3 miles per hour. Now, fortunately, it was only a 2, but it was still extremely deadly with all the rainfall. When the people are sitting through a 4, or God bless them, the ones who had to go through a 5, that wind sound, that if you're in the eye and you're hearing that continuous roar, it's pretty intense for people that live in Florida or live along the coast that have lived through that.
I know that you're right over there, and then you've been in Florida a lot because you're just in Georgia, and it's a drive down. That's a scary, scary thing, and you've dealt with your fair share of storms in Georgia. So let me play this one more time. This is more closer in, so you can kind of see the alligator better. This is nuts.
Oh my God, this is outside of our window. It is a 10 or 12 foot alligator.
Lib gators.
Oh my God, this is outside of our window.
Okay.
It is a 10 or 12 foot alligator.
I know she's probably yelling over the wind, but I don't think she realizes that her phone is right next to her. I would be too, though, man. If I saw that, I don't know. Somebody said lib gators. That cracked me up. What if you had lib gators? That's pretty good. Okay. Just freaking man. Okay, by the way, solid advice. If you do not want to be tracked and traced, guys, check out eDeck. These bags are essentially mini Faraday bags. If you want, you can also check out the utility bag while you're there. You can go to marfooglenews.com/eDeck. What these do is when you put your phone inside them, no signals go out and no signals go in. So essentially you are off grid and you don't get traced. You don't have any geofence warrants pick you up. Again, that's a lot of people are starting to freak out about how they're doing that more and more now. Basically, checking anonymous phone records and then pulling you into court because you may have been at a 7-Eleven next to a murderer. So, anyways, check them out. You also get a discount if you use our code. Our savings code is Marfoogle. marfooglenews.com/eDeck. All right, and then getting back to it, we're going to get our next caller in. And then we are going to get right back into the news. Tower Bear, alligator yummy. That's breakfast, lunch, and supper. Pedro Inacozuino, thank you for following. And as always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. We've got a bunch of new followers. Lola Cafe, thank you for subscribing. I'm sorry, not for subscribing, for supporting. And then Calavita Browning, thank you again. Yinzer Prepper says, I was HIMARS crew member well in Army. Just got intel from Navy friend. Look for Russia coming into Alaska. That was Yinzer Prepper actually saying that. I was HIMARS crew member well in Army. So that's we're talking about the artillery. Crew member well in Army. Just got an intel from Navy friend for looking for Russia coming into Alaska. Yinzer said, read my previous SC comment. Tried calling Marv. I would actually like to talk to you, Yinzer. Maybe we can get you on tomorrow. In fact, I would love to get you on tomorrow. Claire Lawrence, thank you for following. And then Soul Woman, thank you for your support. One drummer guy, longtime listeners, thank you, Adam Dex and the Marfia family. Marky Sparky, thank you. Lana Jean, thank you. Sir Budrick. They used these ADS in the Persian Gulf War. So it's probably perfected and obsolete by now. But Sir Budrick, that means they have it perfected, they can use it, and that makes it even more weird that they're not using it if it is truly non-lethal. I agree with Tyler there that it's probably going to give you cancer after just one time. Maybe that's what they've discovered, but they haven't put out. There's a lot of things that they're not required to put out there. Sending good vibes from Colorado. Love your show. Keep bringing the real news. Your hard work is seriously appreciated. Also, a big shout out, Gone Girl. Thank you as well. If you are watching the replay, I really appreciate you doing so. Susan Donahue, I really appreciate you watching the replay as well. I love you guys and thank you so much. I know you guys will probably be watching later on. And then we've got Lacey Mail, Philbilly X, Tall Drink of Water, Veteran Steve. I don't know if you're here as well. Thank you for watching tonight. Veteran Steve is here, of course. I love you guys. Unicorn Forest, J-Star Oregon, Trippin, Dev Bear B, Trippin HD says, thanks for everything you do. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Mark's Drums, Brian77 Ing. I appreciate you. Ecto Bear. I don't know if is that Ecto 1 only over on here on D Live. And then Foogle Fam and The Truth Is Out There. Thank you. All right, let's get our next caller in. It looks like we've got a good one here, and it looks to be Tom. Tom, you're live on Marfoogle News, and it's a UFO experience.
Adam, hey.
Tell us about it.
Hey, Adam, this is Baldy Likes Awake.
Awesome. How's Jen doing?
She's doing fine. She's doing better. It's been a week and a half, and but she's getting better. Another 2 weeks in the mid-thigh cast, and hopefully we'll go to a cast below the knee, and then another 2 months.
Oh, so her leg is completely straight, so she can't bend her leg, nothing.
Yes. No. She broke her fibula and her tibia jumping into bed, believe it or not.
I'm not going to even go there. There could be many jokes. Anyways.
No, I had tickled her whenever she was brushing her teeth, and she does it all the time. She's 5'10", weighs about $140, and so she has to run around in the shower just to get wet. So she does it all the time, where she runs and just jumps on me into the bed just to like play, and it's like, okay, well, she did it. She planted that left foot. She went down like a sniper got her and started screaming. I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? We ended up going to the emergency room, and sure enough, her leg was broken.
Oh my gosh! And that's like it. And you know, as you get older, I screwed up my entire ankle, and it's just like I was stepping at the bottom step. You know what I mean? As you get older, you hurt yourself on the stupidest things. I was already at the bottom of the step. There wasn't even another step. It's not like I fell down. It's that time where you think there's another step, and I like stepped wrong, and thinking there was another step, put all my weight into it, and then just rolled it. And it's like, you know, it doesn't matter how old you get. There's, you know, we all just make the dumbest mistakes there, and I'm so sorry to hear that. But I'm glad that she's going to be getting a smaller cast.
Yeah, well, we appreciate the prayers too, buddy. We really do. Thank you so much, Adam. We really do. And from all the Foogle family, you wouldn't believe whenever you mentioned that how many people were just like praying for Jen, praying for Jen Lee. It was just great. We really, really appreciate it, brother. But hey, I wanted to get to it. Yeah, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. You had asked me to call in about my UFO experience. I'm from the northern Ozark Mountains of Missouri, and oh my goodness, we lived so far back out in the woods, the June bugs didn't hit us till August. Okay. We were about 10 miles from the nearest town and 20 miles from where I went to high school. And I was about 11, 12 years old. And we were out in the yard at my best friend's house, and we were playing Kick the Can. I don't know if you've ever played that or not. It's where you throw rocks into a coffee can and set it out there, and you got one person that's guarding the can, and then other kids have to run in. As soon as they kick the can, they're not it for the next time, right? So whoever gets tagged the first time is it. Well, I had gotten it, and so I was just standing there, and I'm waiting for all of them to like do their strategy on what they're going to try to do to kick the can. And so I'm just looking up into the sky, and I see one bright light heading from my left to my right, and then one bright light heading from my right to the left. And I'm watching them both, and I'm thinking, what in the world is going on here? And they were getting closer and closer and closer, and all of a sudden they just collide, and I see all these sparks going everywhere. And I'm like, what in the world just happened? Did I just see two planes collide? What did I see? It was unidentified to me. And I didn't know what was going on. So I ran inside, and my mom and dad were playing pinochle with Ronnie and Pat, my best friend's parents. And I told them what had happened. And they're like, we're in the middle of the game. Get your butt back outside. Right. So they didn't pay any attention to it, but I never forgot that. It was like when the space shuttle in 1986 blew up and all the different things went everywhere. That's exactly what it looked like to me, up in the sky in the pitch black dark. And I'll never forget it to this day. And then about 2 weeks later, my mom was coming home from work. And this was in the fall time after daylight saving time when it gets dark around 5 o'clock. And so she got home, she came into the house and she was white as a sheet from work, white as a sheet. She sat down and she doesn't drink and she doesn't chew or anything or go with women who do or men who do or whatever. And she went and got a glass and put whiskey in it and drank it. And she goes, she was fumbling for words and she didn't know what to say. We're like, Mom, what happened? We thought maybe she was in a car accident. She hit a deer or whatever. She said, I saw this object come down in front of my car, so much so it was really fast, just stopped right in front of the road. I had to slam on my brakes. It was there for 2 seconds, and then it just like lift up, and it was gone. And she was like, I don't know what it was. I can't explain it. But she told us kids, don't tell anybody about this.
That's old
how
school.
I know she knows what she saw.
That is old school. They see back then you would be put into an insane asylum, and if she backed the kids up, if she said that, she would lose her kids. Do you not agree?
Yeah.
That CPS or something
I
like that
agree.
would involve
Wholeheartedly, for sure.
Back then they would put you
sure.
away for that kind of stuff. It's weird.
So it's crazy, you know. And so that was the long and the short of that. But I'd also talked to Dex. I'm a headhunter in the banking industry. I'm a executive recruiter, for lack of better words, in the banking industry. And I had a candidate in Chicago, and I was talking to him, and I noticed on his resume, he's a senior portfolio manager for a big commercial portfolio of another institution there in Chicago. And I noticed that he is from the sea, China. Okay. And he went to school in the Wu. And I was like, So I asked him, I said, is your family still there, or are they here, or he goes, well, I'm a naturalized citizen. I got my naturalization last year. He said, thank God, I love America. I love the U.S. I love democracy. I just love it over here. And he said he hates the CCCP and all of that. He said, it's barbaric about what's going on over there. And then the next thing that he said floored me. And he said, Tom, you do know, it's a little known fact in the Wu that the V came from the LAB over there. I'm like, really? He said, everybody knows it. Everybody. Now, this is him telling me, I'm not saying it by fact or anything like that. This is just him telling me this is what he knows. And so I can't label it as fact, but
can I ask you, when was that? When did he say that?
Yesterday.
Well, so for months now, they've talked about it on WeChat. WeChat is their kind of version of Facebook, only it's monitored by the Chinese government. And they have said this since the first month afterwards. So when he says that, I do believe that, because everyone in China on WeChat has talked about this, and they're not supposed to. They can get their accounts frozen, all these different things happen. They censor their stuff. They get their accounts.
Sure.
They don't remove them. They can't remove them because guess what? WeChat is actually not only monitored by the government. It's not like Facebook or something. You need it for certain things in China. You actually have to have it for certain things. And what they're doing is they're tracking every person. And by the way, during this whole thing, a lot of 21 million cell phone users disappeared in China.
Oh,
which made people think that they knocked them off or that they passed away from the V and that they were covering up way more deaths than really happened. I don't think that was the case. I think during that time they censored those phones and they're probably going to go back online. They might have even imprisoned that many people. Who knows? Because people were going to tell the truth. Just a thought.
For sure. And I will tell you that he told me that he listens to a lot of YouTubers that are from the sea, that aren't currently located there, that are getting information out of the sea and out of the area, that are sharing a ton of that type of information, and that he's listening to because his family's still over there. He said his mom and dad, his siblings are all still over there, and he's hoping to one day get them over here to the U.S. to experience freedom. But he said, Tom, ultimately, I am very much praying that the sea becomes like the U.S. and hopefully that it can. And truly, that is his hope. And I will tell you that I believe that's the hope of all of those people. I really do. Those people aren't bad people. It's the government that's bad.
Yeah, no, I know. And again, I'm going to pull something up here. It says on May 7, 2020, the Citizen Lab published a report that documents how WeChat, the most popular social app in China, conducts surveillance of images and files shared on the platform and uses the monitored content to train censorship algorithms. Not only that, they are judging people. You have a social credit score. On top of your regular credit score there, you have a social credit score. And you can actually have your social credit go down by, say, leaving a bicycle in the wrong part of the sidewalk, by jaywalking, by, as far as telling an official, a police officer to screw off. That will lower your score. If it gets too low, they are actually implementing things in China where you will not be able to use a plane or a train or any kind of mass transportation. So you will not be able to travel. Your freedom of travel gets taken away if, and get this, also if you say anything bad about the government. So what you want to do is say, yes, the CCP is so good. It is amazing. I love the government. I love everything about it. I'm proud to be Chinese. Social credit goes up and up and up. But if you say, this is bad, these people are censoring me, this and that, your social credit gets to the point where you're not traveling anymore. So this isn't, it's civilized communism. It's crazy. Well, thank you so much for calling in tonight. And Tom, again, I'm praying for your wife, Jen, and say hi to her. I hope she just, after this, she keeps the sniping to a minimum.
Yeah, you bet, brother. I promise. Listen, we appreciate you. We love you, and appreciate all you do and the hard work that you're putting in to put out the information there. And for you and Dex and the mods, we appreciate you very much.
Well, thank you guys, and thank you for your support. Thank you just for being here. If you guys can, again, say thank you to Tom for calling in tonight. Great caller. On top of that, if you do find any part of the show, if you see the work that we put in before every single show, if you notice that we put this on the website, that we give you the bibliography, if you see all of that, if you found any value, if you learned even one thing today, if you can, please put a like for everything you learned there. Even if you didn't, if you hate us, put a thumb down. If you can do that, it's engagement for us, and it helps us get shared out to new people. Therefore, if we can reach new people, we can grow. We were growing very fast at one point, and it's been about a year of just being stuck. So we would really appreciate it. I really do thank all of you that end up sharing it and pressing that like button, because it seems like we're kind of stuck here. We are still growing. It's just so very slow. We really do appreciate you. Okay, and then over on DLive, thank you guys. Kelly2334, thanks mods. Don't ever forget the mods. The mods are doing a great job to keep this a peaceful place. Kick the can. Oh yeah, more people were commenting about Kick the Can during that call than anything else. By the way, I played Kick the Can. Somebody says, oh, you're not old. I'm 35, which just is enough to have enough experience as you're getting older. I'm having health issues that you don't have when you're in your 20s. All of a sudden, at the very end of your 20s, all of a sudden it's like, oh, my knee's going out, my back's going out, this is going out. I did a lot of construction when I was younger, so I'm about 45 age-wise. And as far as Kick the Can, we played that. That was the funnest and favorite games, and no kids know what that is anymore. Also, it's a joke now to say, oh, go play in the street. They actually used to tell us to go play in the street. We played in the street, and if a car came, you said, car, and somebody would grab the can, or you would move the can temporarily, put it back, and then somebody would go back to guarding the can. Kick the Can is the funnest version of hide and seek ever. It's hide and seek, tag, and soccer all in one. It is the coolest game. If you are younger and don't know what it is, if you have kids, teach them that game, because it needs to be whatever you have to do. If you have to put one of those little slow children at play sign there, get your kids out in the street and playing it. It was the funnest experience ever when I was a kid. And they don't do it anymore, because now there's pedos and all this. Like, I'm not going to have them playing with the neighbor boys. It sucks. Why are the United States is ruined now. On a positive note, we always make sure to uplift after we downgrade. So this is a nice one. Florida teen carves U.S. flags to raise money for homeless vets. It says a Florida teenager is carving intricate American flags to help raise money in support of homeless veterans, children with special needs, and medical professionals across the country. Lakewood Ranch's 15-year-old Lorenzo Liberty, and that is, his last name is Liberte. That is freaking cool. Makes the flags, which he sells and donates in his garage using 13 planks of pine wood and working day and night. So I'm guessing what I am guessing is that they are very similar to this. This is one a viewer Keith made, and it is still one of my favorite ones. Don't exactly have Keith around still, but I do love his art, and what it is it's multiple planks put together. So I'm guessing his planks are like this, and I'm sure it probably has a copyrighted picture on there, but beautiful, stained, painted, everything. Oh, gorgeous. So this kid is not doing it for money. He's doing it to give that money to homeless veterans. We need more kids like this. We need more people like this. We need more of the country to be thinking like this. Instead, people have looked at the flag like it's a symbol of something disgusting. Most people just absolutely hate the country now. It's like you bring in people from all over the world, and then all of a sudden, yeah, this is a melting pot. All these people from other countries, everybody's coming in, and now all of a sudden, nobody likes the country. It's just kind of messed up. I wonder if it's because the percentage of, everybody, I was from an immigrant family. They came over from Norway. The other half came over from Italy. So we're all immigrants, right? But why now does everybody hate America? I don't get it. I don't get it. I guess these people have never lived somewhere worse. I think we have it really lucky here. And I guess people all want to be equal, I guess, right? But I'm talking about other equality, right? Talking about like you all want to live a minimum wage life instead of something else, right? Capitalism bad. I don't get it. Anyways, Susan Wilson, thank you. And then one last little note. If you want to buy earthing from us, you can go to marfooglenews.com/earthing. If you've never grounded, you should. It decreases inflammation, pain, stress, and it increases attention. All right, which would let you get through a 2-hour show. All right, let's get to, let's see here. We have Wages World holding, and he's got some images that he caught related to DEWs. So this is going to be interesting. Wages World, you can come in now, and then, of course, explain to me what these pictures are that you have. Wages World. Which, by the way, he's...
Adam?
What are you at now, Wages World? You're at, like, what, 40,000 or 50,000? Or what are you at now? You're a big channel now.
Yeah. I'm a little over 40. I think I just broke 40,000. So, yeah.
What, can I ask?
Growing. And, you know, what you were talking about earlier, you did the same for me.
No. You were
go ahead.
You were blue Kool-Aid. Can I just ask you
Hello?
Can you not hear me?
Yep.
Okay, now let me ask you one question. Were you one of the
channels?
channels?
I got you, man. I'm hearing you.
Were you one of the channels that I helped Love Mob? Were you at 0 when you first watched my channel? There must be a huge delay.
I was about at 3,000, but I've watched your channel before I had my channel. So that is something that you know, when you did Love Bomb me, and I think I gained like 1,000 subs, like really, really quick. And it's just been going up and up since then. And, you know, and to touch on that, I would say that it takes all of us to keep everybody's name out there. You know, you say you're kind of stalling out. Well, it won't last long if people just keep saying it. I promise.
Well, hey, thank you.
Too good work over there. And, you know, people ask me why I don't call in more often. Well, the reason is because, I have my platform. I talk a lot on the internet. And I don't want to take that time from somebody that doesn't really have a channel and they want to get their voice heard. So that's why I don't, just to answer that question. But yeah.
Well, we don't mind. You've had some of the best videos as well.
And you know,
there's a huge delay, I believe. Are you on a phone? Yes,
yeah, I'm on my own phone on a landline.
Huh? Weird. Okay, well, I'm gonna let you explain everything. I don't know if it's dropping out or what, but I'm gonna let you just go, and I'm gonna let you talk so we don't talk over each other anymore. Okay, go. 2 minutes.
Okay. Sorry about that, man. I don't know if it's my end or it probably is my end. But yeah. So if you want to go to the last picture in that folder Dex has got, I'd just start there if you would. Just let me know if you got it up. I can't see anything. I walked away from.
Okay, we're at that last picture.
The YouTube thing over there. But anyway, what you're looking at. Okay. That's what Dutch caught the other day during the all that event out there on the West Coast that everybody's choking up over right now. And but that's not the only thing that's happening. If you go to the next few pictures that I've got there, it's happening all over. They're firing these things when and wherever they want. And if you go through a couple of those just back to back there, you will notice that it's from the Pacific to the Gulf all the way out into the Atlantic. So it's all over the place, and it's not hard to find. But what happened with him when they kind of went back and graded all that stuff out, they're doing the same thing to these. So I don't know what's going on with this, but it's too much of a coincidence. And the other thing I would add to that, if you look at the one in the Gulf, that was right before the hurricane came in.
Wow, and it looks like it created it.
Who's to say what was going on there? Because last year we caught these. Yeah. we caught these same signatures right before Dorian and all those hit last year. And this is what was going on. And it's like they're steering these things, or at least trying to heat the water up, or whatever they're doing right there. But it's definitely all over the place. It's not just happening in one spot. And I do fully believe, and obviously we can't say that word, but that's what's going on. I mean, there's really no other way to even look at that. It's not if it was a typical glitch, they would just say that. And they're not saying anything. And that's really what's got your question and what's going on with that. But if you notice there too, something I've been noticing, look what's right to the left of that one. If you still got that picture up, and there's hurricanes all around these things. So I don't know what's going on with that. But if you got if you're to the black and white ones, that's actually I was going to talk about that in a minute. But that doesn't really have much to do with these what we're calling beams, I guess. But I don't really have a whole lot of other info on those beams. I just know that they're there. If people go look at this Next Lab radar over at the DuPage site, you can filter through all the different filters and stuff. And I haven't caught one in a few days now, which is also, if it was a glitch, it would be there every day. And it's not happening like that. Like if it was a light anomaly or something like that, that's not what's going on. But to talk to the satellite picture you got there, that's a capture that I caught on the HI2 instrument, and it's from Stereo A. It's a side view of the sun, and the sun's off to the left if you look at it. And what you're seeing there on those captures, anything that's a planet will show up with a line going straight up and down to the whole scene there. Well, that object there came in from the from the sun side and doesn't have a line, number one. So it's not a known whatever that is. And you can see, if you look at that right there, you can see that it's connecting to Venus right there somehow. At least that's what it looks like. The only problem we have with this kind of a capture is we don't know exactly how far away it is from the satellite, so we can't give you a size on it or even really a good location. But we're seeing that stuff all over the place. It's not just on this satellite, but we're catching on a bunch. And that's kind of where we're at right now with this. And it's just it's day after day, and like right now we're experiencing, we're in a solar minimum, but we're still having a bunch of activity. Even the mainstream science is saying, why are we seeing a bunch of activity, but none of it's coming at us. We're having CMEs daily. It's just they're firing on the other parts of the sun. I mean, there's two big ones that happened yesterday that nobody's going to talk about because they didn't come our direction. And they're very easy to find because it's in your face. You can't miss it. And there's just odd stuff like that is happening. And, we catch things daily on these things now. It's not even hard to look for them. It's just there. And, and if you got the one up with the map on there, you'll see a point of view. That's Scott put that together, that little capture there. It's got the location of the satellite and Earth, and it gives you the field of view for the camera, and it shows you what's in there. Well, that object is not on that map. So what is that? And you have to wonder
huge.
What's going on with that.
It's gigantic. It's bigger than Venus.
The bushes you see there, if you're still there or not, I'm not sure if you're there or not. What's that?
It's giant.
Hello?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your phone.
Are you there?
We're all here, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, Marv. I don't want to call it something that it's not. I don't know what that is. Okay, it's moving slow. It's still there, but it's now past where Venus was, and it looks as though it's like it's coming at Earth, but it's not. It's because the angle that we're looking at and the perspective. Even if it goes right where Earth is on that capture, it's not going to be where Earth is. It's going to be way out on the other side of the solar system. is what I'm trying to say.
Wow.
So, you know, we ain't got nothing to worry about that, but that's just something that showed up, and we've not seen that before. And I've been looking at these things now for 3 years, and I've never seen something like that on this particular satellite, ever. And we've seen a lot of weird stuff, and that's just too defined to not, like, look at. I mean, it's like, whatever, you know, people say that we Photoshop, and, you know, we always get that kind of stuff. We don't even have Photoshop.
It's expensive.
If we do anything to it, we put a light filter on it, and that's it, honestly. And, you know, Scott's he's working with a forensics lady there that has got some of the good forensic software that they use for investigations, and he started applying it to some of these photos we got, and some of the stuff is really popping out now. And it just makes you wonder how long the stuff has been there.
Now, what is the last photo with the bushes?
There, you know, the bushes there, that's actually a cat. Go ahead.
Just by the way, just assume if I ask you a question,
those bushes, is a capture.
I'm not going to talk after I ask a question. Just assume that after I stop talking that it's already been like 30 seconds. There's like a 30-second delay after I say something that you get it. So just assume you can talk after I ask a question.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So these bushes you're looking at are a capture that I caught myself at a local Hardee's, and you know it's directional because the dead one that's closest to you in that would be off to the east, and the sun was sets obviously in the west. But what we're seeing there is both of those are getting the same amount of light, because there is no tree line on either side of those. And so it's not because of the direction of the sunlight hitting them. It's because of the UV that's hitting it. And, you know, I work in lawn care, and I've been seeing this more and more and more. And these bushes that you're looking at right there are hardy bushes. That's why they use them in commercial settings, because they don't have to take care of them. And these things are dead. And I know you're seeing an electrical box behind there, but that doesn't have anything to do with it. Not with those. If that was the case, none of that stuff around it would be alive. They've got that thing pretty much filtered out. They got stuff around that one on the inside. But because believe it or not, that is a known anomaly that actually lawn care people know that, to try to make sure that those boxes are insulated, or they won't put plants around them. But that right there is, you know, and what I would say to that, guys, is it's just another, you know, tick the box off to UVC. You know, stuff like that is happening, and it's not a secret anymore. 3 years ago, if you looked in the textbook, you wouldn't even see UVC. It was thought that it could never hit the ground. Our ozone should be filtering all of that out. And now, you know, with Mr. MBB3 and his network of people, they've got UVC on the ground every day. And, you know, the only other way you can get that from unnatural sources like welders and stuff like that. When you get a welder's burn, that's what's happening to you. So, you know, that is just more evidence that stuff is changing. And, you know, does that mean everything's going to come to an end? No, not at all. And that's something I've learned through all this. You know, all the stuff that we talk about, a lot of it it's hard to put it out in a positive spin. And, you know, it's so negative. So when we catch something that's positive, we got to grasp hold of that.
Absolutely.
And stay with it.
Wages, just got to let you know, we are running out of time. We've got to get the YouTube.
What are we even doing it for?
We've got to cut off YouTube. D-Live's going to go longer, but
okay.
We've got to cut off YouTube at 2 hours. Otherwise, it doesn't process and do the
okay.
video right. You guys can check out Wages World channel. We're going to link it, of course. Okay. We've been linking you for a long time. Got a really horrible delay, and I apologize about that. We're going to send people over. Marfooglenews.com. Wages World, thank you so much for being on. And then again, we need to have you back more. Don't worry about other people. Just call in. He's going to wait 30 seconds and say it.
All right, guys. God bless you, man. Be safe.
All right. Love you, brother. Seriously, Wages World is an awesome guy. And somebody was saying that the callers think it's their show or something. That's fine. We have to explain, by the way. Some people are my friends. Wages World is one of my friends. He's been around the channel since I began. He was one of, in fact, he was Blue Kool-Aid before that. And he was just a subscriber. So I know him from creation to now he's a full-time YouTuber. So again, just as somebody helped me like Secure Team, I've helped now over 500 channels get to 1,000 or bigger. He's one of the success stories. The NPC show is in the 60,000 range. Homegrown USA is almost near 20. You've got all sorts of channels in the 5,000 to 10,000 range. You've got all sorts of YouTubers. So, again, I do give them more time. Dex.
Hey, Adam. Great show. Great calls.
Thank you.
And we are over by 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, then, I guess did you end it on YouTube? Or no?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But we probably...
Next time, just cut it at 2 hours. Unfortunately, we have to do that now. But now it's too late anyways. So let's just let it go and it will process. The thing is YouTube has done this thing for the last 6 or 7 months where it won't process for 12 hours. And then what it ends up happening is it doesn't even load. People can't even see it on the channel until tomorrow. And then that's the first 24 hours your video does. So it just completely ruins its momentum and everything. But anyways, we've figured out a lot of things about YouTube, and it's definitely complicated for people that think that they can just do this. It is definitely one of the hardest things that you just never know until you do it. All right, Dex, love you, brother. Thank you.
Love you too, man. Great
I want to
show.
get somebody on the show tomorrow. There was somebody said that they were in HIMARS. So Yinzer, I would love to get you on tomorrow. We will make sure that you have a slot tomorrow. Thank you, guys. We got to be fair to everybody. Yinzer, contact me on Twitter. Let's get you on tomorrow. Anyways, it is officially time for the shoutro. First, I want to say thank you to Luna Soul, Kelly2334, Jilly Bear L, Claire Lawrence, thank you for following. As always, if you subscribe during a live show, you will get a shout out. Sir Budrick, thank you so much for your support. Trip E says, sending good vibes from Colorado. Love your show. Keep bringing the real news. Your hard work is seriously appreciated. Backwoods Ingenuity, live free, travel light, work hard, stay safe, fam. Marky Sparky says, the only news I use. Awesome timing. And then Kirsten HH says, Army pilot friend saw 4 B-1 bombers at Ellison Air Force Base. Not stationed here. Something is up. So Army pilot friend said that there is now B-1 bombers there. That's creepy. Where is Where is Eelson? I'm going to look that up. Merry Christmas 2.0. Repent and be baptized in Jesus' name. Acts 2:37. Keep up the great work, guys. Mods, aliens are fallen angels. That was, again, Merry Christmas 2.0. Thank you guys for being here every single night. Rion and S, thank you again for coming tonight. Jilly Bear L, Kelly2334, Cody D. Can you briefly describe what this channel is about? I don't know if that was a while back, but again, this is a news channel. We talk about everything from UFOs to Bigfoot to politics. Again, that's what we're about, and we ask questions, and we don't have a narrative. You guys make the narrative. All right, and then Kelly2334, Chewy Weather, Just Jill, Tall Drink of Water, Hopkinson, YouTube Admin, love you, Marf, Kenanon, and Kaja Fly Girl. I think that was over on was on the D Live side. We are also on YouTube. We have 250,000 subscribers between two channels, two play button holders. So make sure to check those out as well. Check out our website, marfooglenews.com. We are also helping prepare people all over the world and all over the country for coming disasters, whether that be a hurricane or an earthquake or whatever may happen first. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting independent journalism and independent broadcasting. Kate, thank you. Marf, Dex, and Mods, continue the good work. Spread love. Seek truth. And Doc Bill, Fox News shuts down Newt Gingrich for linking Soros to violent protest. And then Rhiannon S. Aloha from Hawaii. Mahalo, Rhiannon. It's such a pleasure to have Hawaiians in here. Every Hawaiian I've ever met has been awesome. Justin True, shout out to you if you ever watch this replay. I don't forget about you guys. I don't forget about the people that stick around for a long time, and you guys are always shouting me out. Thank you. YouTube admin, love you too. All right, you guys, be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. All right, just a quick heads up. Jason 182. Different name. I didn't even notice, and it's probably been 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something. I just always look at the J-Stone part. Rip Curl, Lisa R. Hall, thank you so much. It was nice to have you here tonight, Tyler. Minnesota Man, Scan Family, Yabba Dabba, Marky Sparky, Ecto Bear. Let's get it. Oh, yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Meow, 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 meow. Outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse wrong. Outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse wrong. Marfoogle News, where are you? Only news I use. Marfoogle News, Marfoogle News, where are you? Only news I use. Marfoogle News. Gotta go back, rock it down. Going back down, and you know me now. Gotta bring it back like Joseph and Julie Brush and Phil Billy X. Got to go and say my name. Go and Joe Schmo all the same. Got to bring it all the game that we do and that we sing. Hey now the Fugo fam, gotta bring it back and man up man. Hey Joe Schmo and Philly Billy X, I've got to go back. I love that way that you window. Crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse wrong. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse wrong. I just gotta go see the name of the people, all the same. Vibrant, loving, now the go. You gotta go back. 1, 4, 2, do, Johnny, do. Right, 1, 2, 57, gotta bring it now. Go Walters and do it all. Bill Billy X and that Mr. Going back down and say your picture. Gotta marry XX, that's talking out. Gotta do it back like you ain't my boss. I'm looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse wrong. Marfoogle News, where are you? Only news I use. Marfoogle News, Marfoogle News, where are you? Trying to find my groove. Let's find it together. is coming fast. You know what? Tonight we're gonna just make a new one. Let's see.
Gotta go ride and watch out with that Marcel on peaceful waters. Storm at 13, everybody got down, now we're racing real terrain. Rayleigh, gotta go back now like Haley. Gotta do it like Noe Bailey. With the IMF and the Puller and S and the wet and the Can-Am. Gotta bring it like Whole Heart Heritage Homestead. Gotta do it like Drop Dead Fred Dead. I'm a battery like that Gadget. Girls and Proud Grandma and Smitty 340. Do it back like no, you don't know me. I'm about to be a Fugle fan, and Fugle man. We stay to be M and Chang. Gonna do it like Gas Electric. And the Lady T, got a Lady T. Gotta do it all good, and I'm wearing a Lady T. And a Slow Whisperer. Gotta do it like now, I'm consider. Like Danny's girl, like Gas Electric. Gonna bring it back now, oh I'm taking it, bringing it, doing it every old night. Oh yeah, gotta love it all down. Just me, peaceful waters in the July and a stormy 7-3 and Phil Billy. I've got the GBJ and I've got the Jaw Farm. I'm gonna speed it up and I'm gonna say I love the Stamper Law. I'm gonna bring it like that could die, gonna bring it back like an Akia. Was a little bit off there, doesn't it? All right, let's get rid of it. I don't like it. Let's just do something simple. Let's make this about our top contributors over on DLive. Boom, 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 boom. I use a looper, so if you're confused what's going on, all of the songs, they're not great. I never claimed to be. But I am making them from scratch right here. And I'm going to use all of your names as my inspiration. All right. Let's get it. Hold on. Since my nose has been messed up, it's just... All right.
the metronome. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, let's try that one more time. Thank you, Tony Mountain, Nicole York, Belliski. I don't know if you are a creator of any kind, but sometimes you have writer's block. Only mine is my nasal cavities are just kills me. I think I'm tone deaf now. I just want to I take control. Brayley, Shutterbug, Yabba Dabba, Restore Rain, Christina V, all for him, praying for Miss Marv. Thank you. Christina V, The Truth is Out There, Conniption Fit, Lori Magic 5, putting them on the top 5, all over the place. Mersa 1, thank you so much for being here tonight. Mersa. Mercy one. Mercy, number one. Mercy, so much fun. 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 Mersa 1, thank you for being here every night. Whether you're on the contributor board or not, you are one of my favorite people. Thank you so much. Johnson, thank you. Grace for you too. GT Thomas, Kelly2334, Tower Bear, Zippy Moons, Foogle Fan, Chazer152, Kahaja Fly Girl. A big shout out, a very special shout out to Susan Donahue, Gone Girl, and Veteran Steve. Oh yeah. Mercy one in the gun, girl. WS and everybody knows. Mercy one in the gun, girl. Yeah, everybody got the one. And Nicole York, 74, Wilson Nation, the rest of the night.
UFO.
Gotta bring it back down. Gotta love Bubba and that retro. Gotta be the LOL rig. Gotta do it like West in the West. Beats and till it. Hey, gas electric. Gotta do it just like this. Gotta bring it like Minnesota man. West of the West and I am man. Hey, shut the bugger cake. Hey, Mercer One. Mr. Johnson. Gotta do it like and grace for you too. MGP Thomas. Thomas. Kelly 2334. Dower Bear. Tippy Moons. Google Fan. And everybody knows who I am. Chaz 152. Got the cow, how'd you fly, girl? Everybody too. Knows me.
I just want love.
Sweet, sweet love.
Dog face pony soldiers everywhere. Dog face
ponies. You a dog face pony. You a dog face pony. You a pony. Never gonna back now. Never gonna believe you're baloney. Can't even remember all the things that you said like 10 minutes ago. Oh no. How you gonna be a president when you can't even remember your evidence? Oh, sorry. Your ditch is all falling out. Messed up that speech, oh now. Gotta, do I sound just a little bit like Coolio? Oh. Through the shadow of the valley and the shadow of death or something like that. I don't have much depth. Bring it back now. Gas or electric. Oh now. Bring it like Neil Anderson. Gotta do it like now. Bring it, I love Beagle style. Gotta do it without the bass and bring it right back, and you gotta do it now. I'm about to look you right in the face. Bring back the beat. I love it. Do it for the fam. Damn. And Denny's girl. Ready or not, 82, Nick Cole, York 74. Gonna do what you do, but just make sure to bring the beat back. All right, love you guys. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. Dedicated to all the lovely people here. All you dog ponies.
Gonna do it like, oh, you better go check it. Gotta bring yourself to find this hell. Gotta do it all day. Gotta say it that same way. Do it like you never did before. Bring it right back and you know you won't fall. Met your face off like you made a hugging dog. Drop dogs with a man, turn around, proper copy holocaust. Cause you're gonna go and
Bring it on back now. Oh yeah, got a vibrant love. Called in the water and the Bailey. Gotta do it like, oh no, hey. See me on the corner and outside. Bring it on back now.
Bring it on back now.
Bring it on back now.
Bring it on now. Sam Quiggs. Getting in them digs. Better go back, I don't too. Carl, I'm a dumber and I don't do. All this out, I'm about to bring it back. Johnny, do what you do with it. Do it back.
I gotta bring it back. Disciples aren't all doing it like that. Vibing love. Vibing love. Cameron Dixon. Gonna get them. Oh
Yeah. Sam Quinn. Respiratory Jane. Gotta do it like Name. Name that girl and then put your bow. Bow. Gotta get the connection bit. Bow down, me one of those connection bits.
Bring it on back. Lord Magic 5.
I think he forgot to bring it back. Can I get a bring it on back in the chat? Is he even there? We had a song going there. Where is it? Ecto One. Sam on Quiz. Ed G. Whalen. Gotta go Taryn. Shutterbug Clayton. Nobody's waiting.
Told that mountain. Doing it like he never did it before. Veteran Steve. Veteran Steve. Gotta get my eyes. So. Veteran Steve.
Yeah. Anita. I think it's Anita.
I think it's Anita. Do you need me or do I need you?
I think it's Anita. Or maybe it rhymes. Going to the beach.
It's Anita. Thanks for following.
It's not a hollow follow. It's a one of those solid follow. I gotta bring it back now. Oh,
Bring it on back now. Ooh yeah. Ooh yeah. Anita.
Wanna feature? Anita.
I want a feature.
I'm losing my voice. Gotta go back now. I toy. Johnny Doom. Do my do. 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 Forget those guys. Forget this bag.
Go right back and you go in like that. Bring it on back. Lord Magic 5. Gonna go wholesale by my side. Let's see who there is the host. Coming right back with the host of the most. Got cats in the band probably. Let's see it. Let's see it. La 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 la. Hey, 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 oh. Have a good night, guys.
Make sure to support Cab 7 Bet.